Hello, my name is Rosaline Lupercio, and this is my Technology Integrated Lesson for 7th grade ELA. This is an assignment that should be completed in class and would take approximately 50 minutes. As students walk in, they would see my Google Slides presented on our Promethean board, and students would also be provided their own Google Slide through Google Classroom. So as students come in and get settled, they are to follow these instructions, find their assigned seat, take out their Chromebook, and they would have 5 minutes to review the definition of the term theme. So if students click on the link, it would take them to a GimKit review game with these questions. After the 5 minutes are up, they would, to check their understanding, they would drag this dot to where they feel, where they stand. To reassure, I would have them think, pair, share with a partner at their table. I would give them 2 minutes, and I have provided sentence starters for them to use, defining the term theme. So, students' learning objective, they would be learning how to determine the theme of a narrative and provide text evidence to support their response. This would be through a nonfiction narrative titled Island of Sorrow about a 15-year-old boy who is going out of his way to help his community after Hurricane Maria destroyed Puerto Rico. Material needed, they would need their Chromebook, the link to the Scholastic Scope article, and great academic behavior. Standards being covered would be RL 7.1 and RL 7.2. Students will be able to analyze and summarize a text to determine the theme. Students will be able to follow the 5 steps to determine the theme. Students will be able to differentiate the theme from the main idea, and students will be able to provide reasoning to support the theme. So as a class, we would follow 5 steps to determine the theme of a narrative. The first step would be to read the narrative or watch the movie. In this case, we would read the narrative. Clicking the title would take us to scope article. We would listen, first time around, we would listen to the audio and read along. This should take us approximately 10 minutes. Then we could move on to step number 2. Create 5 topics and highlight your strongest one. So I would give each table 3 minutes to discuss and give me a topic defining this narrative in one or in a word or a phrase. Person number 3 would be responsible for clicking the Padlet link, would take them here to Padlet, and they would add their sticky note with a topic. So in a word, again, in a word or phrase defining the narrative. Once each group has added their sticky note, we would vote on one, and that's the one we would be using as a whole class. They would add it here to this slide using Padlet. A true or false to check their understanding. Can we include character names in the theme? That is false. Start your sentence for step number 3. Start your sentence with the author believes that. So I provide a sentence starter, and they have to tell me what the author believes and is trying to teach us through this narrative. Must include the topic that we voted on. They would do this using Padlet to get their responses. Step number 4, tell me more using a conjunction. So the sentence they created in step number 3, they would add it here, but they would tell me more using a conjunction, so more details. Again, using Padlet. Step number 5, we would copy the sentence we created in step number 4 and add it here, but we would eliminate the author believes that, and we're left with the theme of a narrative. Students would be given 5 minutes to complete independent work, so they would give me 2 to 3 sentences just to find what happens in the narrative that leads us to believe that that was the theme. So they would add it here, and I've provided a sentence starter using Padlet. After the time is up, we would have a classroom discussion. So I would randomly select 3 students to share their response. They would have to stand up, face their audience, and use their speaker voice. Checking their understanding, how they feel about using the 5 steps. Testing their understanding. 5 minutes, we would go on Blooket, click the link, and they would find the theme to several Pixar movies. And last, exit ticket, connect to their own life. So something they learned today and how they could relate this to something in their own life. And this is our lesson plan to determine the theme. Thank you.